Hello, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to Life in the Amazon, hosted by me, South American fish keeper Aqua Alex Cardinale. It's been a few months since I've hosted an episode of Life in the Amazon. As a matter of fact, the last episode of Life in the Amazon I hosted was back in May. Now, the last episode of Life in the Amazon, I talked about some species of catfish that live in South America. I talked about the Niger catfish. I talked about the Irwini catfish. I talked about the four-line pictus and the ornate pictus catfish. To see that video, just go to my playlist right here on my YouTube channel. Go to my playlist, Life in the Amazon, and you'll be able to see the previous episode of Life in the Amazon. Today, we are going to continue talking about catfish that come from South America and catfish that live in South America. The Amazon River is home to hundreds of species of catfish. You've got monster catfish like red tails, Paraiba, tiger shovelnose. Then you've got medium growing catfish like pictus cats, vulture catfish, and you got small catfish like corydoras cats, Odocinculus, etc. You've got carnivorous catfish, and then you've also got herbivorous catfish and catfish that like to digest driftwood like plecos. So if you're a catfish lover like I am, the best place to collect fish from would be South America because the majority of the catfish species in the aquarium hobby come from South America. So today we are going to continue talking about catfish species that come from South America. We are going to learn about a corydoras species that grows to 4 inches with the name Hognosed cory. We're going to learn about a cool black tip mouse catfish known as Hassar Orestis. I'll talk about tiger shovelnose and so much more. So if you're watching this video, let me know what your favorite South American catfish are. So in the comments, let me know what your favorite South American catfish are. My personal favorite South American catfish would be 4-line pictus cats. The 4-line pictus cats are an awesome, active, medium-sized catfish, perfect for a 125-gallon aquarium. They grow up to 8 to 12 inches. I also like the vulture cat, and an all-time favorite of mine would be the tiger shovelnose. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this show started. And we're going to start by talking about the Brochis catfish, aka the Hognosed corydoras. Now, I first learned about this catfish 10 years ago in 2012. How I learned about this catfish, a fish store that imported from Peru and all over South America brought them in. I thought they looked really unique. They had the face and body of a corydoras catfish, but they were bulky and they were pretty big. They were about 3 or 4 inches, if I remember correctly. So I instantly fell in love with the Brochis catfish. And me being an impulse buyer and loving the look of them, I worked out a deal with the fish store owner and I took home 4 or 5 of the Brochis catfish. It's a really unique looking catfish, really cool personalities. It has the corydoras look and the corydoras personality. So some information about the Brochis catfish. It is a little bit of a larger cory. It will grow to be about 4 to 4.5 inches. And there are a couple of species of Brochis cats. First, we have the Hognosed Brochis, and then there's the Brochis splendid, which stays a little bit smaller than the Hognosed Brochis, but Brochis cories get the biggest of all cory cats. Brochis can reach up to 4 inches, which is great if you're going to have a geophagus community or maybe a threadfin acara community or any community aquarium. If you have a large community aquarium, the Brochis catfish is for you. Similar care, like other corydoras species, it's just a little bit larger than most corydoras species. So here is an image of my Brochis cat. This is one of my 4 that I brought home 10 years ago. And you can see how they get the name Hognose. They look just like a pig a little bit, but a very unique corydoras cat. They're one of my favorite cories. And I'm definitely going to be getting some Brochis cats again now that I have a community aquarium up and running. I think the community aquarium needs Brochis cats. Now, like I was saying, if you have a large community aquarium, 55 gallon, 75 gallon, 125 gallon, the Brochis hognose catfish or the Brochis splendis, I think it is, they would be perfect for those larger community tanks. They'll get along with gouramis, angelfish, geophagus, tetras. They will not eat any little fish, but they're a little bit on the bulkier side. They're a little bit bigger than normal cories. So they would get along well with angelfish and discus and the like, festivums, severums, etc. Now, Brochis come from Peru, but they also can be found in Venezuela and Colombia and Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. So the Brochis cat, very, very cool catfish. All right, the next catfish I'm going to talk about is a really cool, unorthodox, rare catfish that very rarely comes into the aquarium hobby. And I first learned about this catfish 10 years ago as well. And I got them the same day that I got the Brochis catfish. The fish store owner got these catfish in. They were labeled as unknown doradids, and they belong to the doradid family. And I thought they were very, very cool looking. So we're going to talk about a catfish that is known as Hassar Orestis, or black tip mouse catfish. Now, this catfish is very similar to Raphael cats and very similar to corydoras. It's a schooling catfish that grows to be about 6 to 7 inches, and it's a very, very uh, nice catfish to have. It has a very unique personality and it loves to eat. When I had my Hassar Orestis, I fed them live blackworms, bloodworms, flakes, and they just loved to eat. And they're a very nice catfish. So let's take a look at how the Hassar Orestis looks. So the Hassar Orestis looks just like a shark, doesn't it? It has a shark fins. It also looks like a mouse. That's how it's got the mouse nickname, mouse catfish. So they do have very sharp fins. They can actually cut you, and that's where the Doradid name comes from. But a very cool catfish. I have to get some of these guys again. They're a very seasonal catfish. They come in seasonally. You can get them from Wet Spot Tropical Fish and other places that import South American fish. Unfortunately, Brochis and Haster cats, they're most likely only going to be available to wild caught. So you're probably not going to be able to find captive raised Haster cats just yet. But wild caught fish are really fun. So some things to know about the Haster cats. They are a schooling cat, so you're going to want at least 4 or 5 of them. They grow 6 to 8 inches in length. They'll eat just about anything. They will not eat small fish, so you can keep them with tetras. You can keep them with gouramis. You can keep them with your severums, your angelfish, your geophagus, etc. Very, very cool, unique, rare community catfish, and a very nice armored catfish from South America. The last time I had them, I was living in Massachusetts and I had to rehome them because I moved down here to Florida and I haven't seen them here in Florida yet. But you can guarantee your bottom dollar when I see them here in Florida, I am definitely going to pick up some more Hassar Orestis. I think they grow big enough to go in my 125. All right. So the next catfish I'm going to talk about is one that I am very, very familiar with, and that is a monster catfish. It's the only monster catfish I'm going to talk about on today's show, and it is the tiger shovelnose catfish. This catfish is so popular in the aquarium hobby, it is now farm raised. It is now captive bred. And it has been hybridized with other monster catfish species. You've got red tail cat times tiger shovelnose hybrids. You've got tiger shovelnose and marble lacara hybrids. You got tiger shovelnose and niger cat hybrids. So a lot of people love the tiger shovelnose. The problem is the tiger shovelnose grows massive. What are people going to do with a catfish that can grow up to 3 feet in length? Most people think the tiger shovelnose catfish is a cool catfish, but they don't realize that the tiger shovelnose can grow 2.5, 3 feet in length. And with that size, it's going to need a large aquarium. So with the tiger shovelnose, you're looking at about maybe 180 gallons, 220 gallons, and larger. Even a pond is recommended for the tiger shovelnose catfish. One of the things I like about the tiger shovelnose catfish is that they have a ferocious appetite. They will eat just about anything, other fish included, tank mates included. So you need to make sure if you're keeping tank mates with tiger shovelnose that they're too big to be eaten, that they're large enough not to fit in their mouth and be eaten. So pretty much that's the basic care guide of a tiger shovelnose. Large tank, keep them with other large fish, feed them market shrimp, tilapia, and give them a good diet, and they will grow quickly. But the problem is they're so popular, a lot of people are getting them, and they get too big for their aquariums, and then they try to rehome them, and people just don't have the tank space for them. So if you're really interested in a tiger shovelnose, make sure you have a large aquarium. Now, I really love the Tiger Shovelnose. I haven't had one in a year or so, and that's because I don't have a 180 gallon, 220 gallon aquarium. But if I did, I would definitely get a Tiger Shovelnose. So here is a picture of the Tiger Shovelnose that I grew out last year. Very, very nice catfish that I grew out last year. And then here is another picture of that same Tiger Shovelnose catfish that I grew out last year. Very, very pretty fish. Now, as Tiger Shovelnose mature, they will lose their brown coloration and turn to like a gray color, and they change into their adult patterns. Very, very cool catfish. So I actually have a video of some juvenile Tiger Shovelnose catfish that I was raising before I moved to Florida. Let's check out that video, and then we will talk about our next catfish here on today's episode of Life in the Amazon. So as you can see, juvenile Tiger Shovelnose are really, really pretty, but they grow up to be monsters, and they get pretty cool patterns even when they mature. Very, very cool catfish. All right, moving along. We are going to talk about another community catfish, and it's a corydoras species that I have yet to keep, but I really adore this corydoras species. It is a really beautiful catfish and one that I definitely have on my bucket list to keep in my community aquarium, and that is the Sturby corydoras. Now, my friend, my late great friend Lynn Mathney, bred all different types of corydoras. She was the cory cat lady, and she loved her Sturby cories as well as her gold and green laser cories. And I was supposed to have Sturby cories in her honor, but I never did. Well, now that I have a community aquarium, I shall get some Sturby cories. Now, these cories will grow to be about 2.5 inches, maybe 3 inches, and they can be kept at a higher temperature. You can keep the Sturby corydoras cats in anywhere from 78 degrees to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which means the Sturby corydoras would be a great tank mate for discus. This would be a great discus cleanup crew. A nice group of Sturby corydoras in a discus aquarium would look absolutely amazing. You could also keep them with angelfish. They would look great with angelfish, and I think they would fit in well with angelfish. They can also be kept in normal corydoras water, like 72 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. They would do well there, and they can live with other species of corydoras as well. So as you can see, the corydoras sturby, very pretty catfish. I like the markings. I got to get some. But do know that the sturby corydoras is an expensive corydoras. You can get a sturby cory anywhere from $8 to $12 a cory. That's a little bit more pricey compared to other corydoras. Sometimes there'll be even more than that, depending on your area and the availability that the fish store has in your area. I've seen them go as far as $15 per corydoras. And it also depends on whether or not the stir-by corydoras is captive raised, farm bred, or wild caught. There are a plethora of tank raised and captive raised stir-by cories out there, but there are also still wild-caught stir-by cories that come into the aquarium hobby. And there is also albino stir-by corydoras. But me personally, I'm a natural guy. I like natural things. So the original wild-caught variety of the stir-by cories are my favorite. Very, very cool catfish, and that is the stir-by corydoras. All right. The next catfish we're going to talk about is known as a twig catfish. And it's known as a twig catfish because it has the body of a twig. It resembles a twig. Now, the twig catfish is also known as a Farowella catfish. I think I pronounced that right. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. Now, the Farowella catfish is in the same family as Plecostomus. It is in the Plecostomus family. Now, this catfish can be a little bit difficult to keep because it has a different diet compared to most other catfish. You need to make sure that this catfish is eating, otherwise, it will starve to death. So it will need a good diet. It's mostly a herbivore, so it will eat freshly chopped vegetables and it will munch on driftwood. But algae wafers would be very beneficial in the twig catfish diet. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the twig catfish, but I do think the twig catfish is a very unique looking catfish, very unorthodox. And South America is home to some unorthodox, unique, cool creatures like the Hassar Orestis catfish and the twig catfish. Now, the twig catfish has become increasingly popular in the aquarium hobby, and more are entering the aquarium hobby, which is good because people can experience the unique and unorthodox fish and see if they like them for themselves. All right, we are going to go ahead and take a quick intermission. When I come back, I'm going to continue talking about some catfish from South America. We have two final catfish species to talk about on today's episode. When I come back, I'm going to talk about the Gulper catfish and the flagtail porthole catfish. So we're going to hear a word from our supporters. I'd like to say thank you to our supporters who helped make Aqua Alex's show a possibility. And then we will be right back. So here's a quick word from our supporters. Aqua Alex and Life in the Amazon continues right after.
Are you a tropical fish keeper living in South Florida? You need to check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. Aquatic and Exotic is home to quality freshwater and saltwater tropical fish. You will find African cichlids, South and Central American cichlids, goldfish and koi, and exotic fish. We also supply aquarium supplies like filters and heaters, aquariums, and lights. We also have quality fish food brands. Aquatic and Exotic is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Questions? Give us a call at 772-781-4046. Stop on by and check us out. 1525 A.C.E. Lockhart Street, Stuart, Florida 34994.
Aqua Alex here, and I'm proud to partner with Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club was founded by my friend Jeremy Stellhorn. Little Egypt Aquarium Club provides aquarium hobbyists with quality aquarium supplies. You will find sponge filters, pleco caves, and so much more. Little Egypt Aquarium Club also has quality fish foods. You'll find things like rapashi. Rapashi is a name brand fish food perfect for placostomus, community fish, and even monster fish. You'll find medicated fish foods as well. Aqua Alex and Jeremy Stellhorn are teaming up to save you some money. If you use my discount code, which is Alex, you will get 10% off your order. So go to littleegyptaquariumclub.com right now, place an order, and use coupon code Alex, and you will save 10% on your order. Now back to the fish chat. It's the one and only Aqua Alex Cardinale here, inviting you to be a part of the August 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A. If you have any freshwater or saltwater questions that you would like me, Aqua Alex, to answer, please email them to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com. The August 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A is going to air live Sunday, August 28th, 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. I will answer your fish keeping questions. I also have some fun topics planned. I'm going to talk about how to safely move with aquariums and tropical fish. I'll talk about snail eating fish like clown loaches, and I will talk about how to diagnose and cure ick. Also, there's the Fish Keeper show off this month, and I'm going to show off my new 55-gallon aquarium with some of the fish that are behind me. Send photos and videos of your aquarium to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com for the Fish Keepers show off. I will see you Sunday, August 28th, 2022, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Email your fish keeping questions and photos and videos of your fish to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com. Welcome back to Life in the Amazon, episode 13. Today we have been talking about some more South American catfish that call the Amazon River home. Before our intermission, I talked about the Brochis Hognosed corydoras catfish. I talked about Hassar Orestis. I've talked about tiger Shovelnose, stir-by quarries, and Twig catfish. Now it's time to talk about another type of catfish that I've never kept before. And it's a unique catfish and one that I definitely want to keep. It's part of the Hopalo catfish family. My God, I hope I pronounced that right. The Hopalo cats are pretty cool. Hopalo catfish belong to the Doradid family. And the Doradid family is home to Raphaels, Niger cats, ripsaw cats, Megalodoras irwini, and even corydoras catfish. Now, this is a very beautiful Hopalo cat. It looks more attractive than the common brown Hopalo catfish. And here's a fun fact about the common brown Hopalo catfish. It is invasive here in southern Florida. I could go to a canal, a lake, a river, or a pond and go to the bottom, and I probably can see some brown Hopalo catfish as well as common placostomus. And that is probably due to aquarium releases or accidental introduction. But anyway, This is a very beautiful hopalo cat. It is known as the flagtail porthole catfish. Now, a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to get a school of these, but I only had a 75-gallon aquarium. And I believe at the time I had a large Oscar and some other aggressive fish. And I was kind of worried that my Oscar would go after these guys because these guys are kind of expensive. They're definitely more expensive than your common Hopalo catfish, and that's for a good reason. They are much better looking than the brown Hopalo catfish. Now, these guys can grow anywhere from 6 to 7 inches in length. They are a schooling cat and they love to graze on the bottom of the aquarium. They are scavengers, but that does not mean that you shouldn't feed them. You can feed them shrimp pellets, bloodworms, flakes, etc. Very, very cool catfish, and one that I would love to have the opportunity to keep. They'll do great in community aquariums with corydoras cats, plecos, angelfish, tetras, festivums, and other South American fish. Very, very cool catfish. So here is an image of what a flagtail porthole catfish actually looks like. It's a very gorgeous catfish. And it looks very similar to the Cherison flagtail procholotus. Very, very nice. South America is home to a lot of flagtails. Very, very cool. All right. Our main event, our final catfish that I'm going to talk about tonight is a catfish that can be considered a fat ass or someone that likes to gorge because this is a catfish that will gorge itself. It can eat anything up to its body length, and sometimes it will do that. Of course, I'm talking about the Gulper catfish. This is a catfish that you cannot have any tank mates with. Why? Well, because it will simply eat them or try to eat them or die trying to. It is such a pig, but it is cool to watch. It is cool to watch them swallow other fish. So serious monster aquarium hobbyists really enjoy the Gulper cat because they find it really interesting to watch a Gulper cat swallow its prey whole. I, on the other hand, don't really find that interesting. I don't like dedicating a tank to one particular catfish. It does look like a creepy, scary catfish. It can live with other Gulper cats. That's the only thing that you could keep with Gulper cats because, like I said, they gorge and gorge and gorge and continue to eat. They'll eat just about anything from fish, crustaceans. You can even feed them tilapia. They'll eat just about anything, including their tank mates. And again, it can even be tank mates that are larger than them. They will eat them. I have seen videos on YouTube where Gulper cats are eating fish as big as a foot. So very, very unique predator from South America, and it's very, very scary. And that's why I definitely would never get a Gulper cat because you cannot trust them with any other fish. They will simply eat and eat and eat them, and then they're the only fish in the aquarium. But monster aquarists love them because it's really fun to watch them gorge. All right, those are all the catfish species for this edition of Life in the Amazon. I hope you enjoyed today's installment of Life in the Amazon. I hope you learned a lot about all of the catfish species that I mentioned. Should you have any questions on any catfish from South America, please post them in the comments and I will answer all of your questions. Also, feel free to post your favorite South American catfish in the comments as well. So, on the next Life in the Amazon, episode 14, we are going to talk about a couple of species of catfish. We're going to talk about corydoras catfish. I like a good corydoras school, so I'm looking forward to talking about corydoras. And then I'm going to talk about plecos. So it's going to be a multi-part series because there's a plethora of corydoras species and there's a plethora of pleco species. So we're going to dive into cories and plecos on the next episode of Life in the Amazon, which will probably be sometime next week. Don't forget, the August edition of Ask Aqua Alex Live is Sunday, August 28th, 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So email your fish keeping questions to Alex Go Yankees, Cardinale19 at gmail.com. I'm Aqua Alex Cardinale, the South American fish keeper, and it's been an honor and a privilege to talk about South American catfish with all of you aquarium hobbyists. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. Happy fish keeping, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching.